Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Papa Pixelit playing in the Tier 8 Cossack. This is a ranked match. In terms of primary threats to the Cossack in this game, I would say Cossack is a great ship for this format. Rune's got good hydro. Eddie can have radar, but almost certainly will have smoke. We'll see. But, if we're playing the odds, count on smoke with the Edinburgh. Jutland, you don't want to smoke up in front of a Jutland because he can just hydro and come right at you. And Kagero's always a torpedo threat, but if you know where he's at or even have some idea, you can angle accordingly and probably manage to avoid his torpedoes. While they hit really hard, they are relatively easy to detect in that they have a longer detection range. Marco Polo, well, that's something of an unknown quantity for a lot of us, still being a relatively new ship. The team has split. Neptune is here with Papa Pixelit. They secured the Charlie cap. Bad guys are about to get Bravo. Nobody has yet made it to Alpha. Neptune is guessing 4 of the red ships went to Alpha. It looked like Amagi was going to be coming this way, but he seems to have changed his mind. Neptune wisely decides that he is not going to push toward the Bravo cap. Probably a really good idea. Bismarck and Vladivostok both are capable of basically one-shotting the Neptune. Yes, the Neptune, like the Edinburgh, is probably set up for smoke, but if somebody has any idea what they're doing, they can blind fire into the smoke, and it's pretty easy to citadel a Neptune. Fletcher's made it into the Alpha cap. He is capping. He's got anchorage right behind him. Sovietsky Soyuz, Alabama, and Amagi following that up. Now you can see there the Cossack, while it only has 4 torpedoes at a time, they reload in just over a minute. And you can fire them individually. So you can cover different lanes and different angles. In this case, Papa decided to throw them all kind of on the same line in order to catch one of the battleships. But all 3 battleships are on a very similar line. It's possible he can get all 3. Another beauty about being able to single fire torpedoes is that if you manage to land one, Fletcher takes out the Jutland with torpedoes. That was nicely done. If you manage to land one and then follow that up a minute and however many seconds later with another one and get a flood, that flood will stick for a while. You can also land one, get it to flood, get the battleship to repair, and as soon as it repairs you can smoke up, as long as someone else is spotting for you, and set fires, because you've got 4 turrets, each with 2 guns. And that's a good way to start a lot of fires, having 8 barrels. Neptune just ran for the hills. Probably a good idea. 3 battleships kind of pushing this way. And this is an ideal situation for the Cossack. Not too hard to stay out of detection range. We know there's only one other destroyer here. Puts one right on the Bismarck's nose. No flood. That's kind of unlucky. Now, if you're paying attention to the minimap at all, you'll see that it's flipping. That means Kagero is in Charlie.
Engine boost activated.
Now you can see that Cossack has hydro as well. And if you haven't seen the Cossack in action, if you're not familiar with the ship, you're in for a treat here. Kagero made the mistake of turning toward him. And at this range, Papa Pixel's going to know almost immediately when the torpedoes come out. Now he is spotted, at least for the time being, but you can see the hydro has now lit up to Kagero, and then Kagero's in big trouble. You'll see the torpedoes the second they come out, if they come out. Well, that's it for Kagero.
Fire.
And he can use the... Well, he could have used the Kagero smoke, but Rune is pushing right in, and Rune has a fairly long-range hydro, so he really can't afford to sit here.
Smoke screen set. Problem solved, sir.
If Rune's already burned his hydro, that's one thing, but let's hope that's the case. Because with the Bismarck behind him and Rune, as you can see, just kind of sitting perpendicular to him. And Rune has its own torpedo threat, and they hit very hard. Fortunately for our hero,
Engine boost
Fletcher
deactivated.
torpedoes managed to finish off the Rune before he can get close enough to bring those guns to bear. So the bad guys have secured a cap advantage, but good guys haven't lost a ship yet. And that one flooded, so he has to repair. Or continue to take damage. Looks like he did repair.
Smoke generator activated. Smoke screen set.
Torpedoes will be back up in 9 seconds. And the Edinburgh secures A. Fletcher's coming this way. He's going to be able to help out. Papa's expecting Vladivostok to turn in. Wasn't really able to capitalize on the flood that he started, because if he had kept the guns hot, Vladivostok would have been able to just pummel him. Fletcher's going to have Vladivostok's broadside here with torpedoes. Hopefully some of those will land. No. Running very close to the island. Torpedoes up in 18 seconds. Fletcher's very banged up, but as long as he avoids being detected, he can continue to be a real threat to these enemy battleships. Marco Polo is just about dead. He's got an Alabama as he comes around the corner there. If he comes around that corner, the Alabama's just going to blap him, I think. Anchorage got him with a fire. Anchorage is probably sitting up there in smoke. If you're not familiar with that ship, it's very fun to play. It's got hard-hitting AP.
Engine boost activated.
And a smoke, which is kind of neat. It's also got torpedoes. It's, you know, the guns don't reload all that quickly, but for the tier and the fact that it's a U.S. cruiser, it's got some surprises. Looks like he's going to land at least one here on Vladivostok. And he gets the flood. That's really good. I might smoke up right here myself, but looks like he opts to just use the island. Secondaries are still a threat, but looks to me like Papa is going to get back here and grab this cap, which is probably really smart. Those Fletcher torpedoes. Fletcher's having a heck of a game too. So we're looking at the scoreboard. You got almost 80,000 damage, 3 torpedo hits, 115 shells on target.
The enemy is about to win.
1 ship sunk, a couple of floods. I imagine the Fletcher's done a lot more damage and has managed to sink another ship. But what role did the Cossack play? Well, the Cossack, at least as far as I'm concerned, Vladivostok does manage to finish off Fletcher. He got himself spotted. As far as I'm concerned, Cossack played a really important role because he represented a threat that kept those battleships pointed more or less toward him. They didn't want to show him broadside. And ultimately that ended up meaning that they were broadside to the Fletcher torps. Here's this, the fire threat that I was talking about. So we can get one burning on Vladivostok. There we go.
Smoke generator activated.
Yeah, the smoke chance isn't what I would call great, but with 8 guns, you're definitely going to be starting some fires. 16 seconds, and he'll have this cap secured, and there's kill number 2.
Enemy battleship
And it's only the Edinburgh left, and there's no way he's going to survive much longer. So I will say, great job, Papa Pixelit. Thank you very much for sending the replay file. It's fun to watch. I think you did a great job. You really, you put to good use what I consider to be the strengths of this ship. It's actually one of my favorite destroyers to play. Those of you joining me, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not familiar with Cossack or haven't ever played it, if you get an opportunity to pick it up and you like destroyers, I think you'd really enjoy it. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.